Real Madrid are back to square one, with Xabi Alonso gone. In fact, the post-Alonso era didn't even survive its first test. A shock Copa del Rey exit, a defeat to Albacete, and the man many believe triggered this collapse, Kylian Mbappe himself, wasn't on the pitch that night. And the more you connect the dots, really, the harder it becomes to ignore this question. Is Kylian Mbappe football's most powerful manager killer? Kylian Mbappe is not just a footballer. We know it by now. He's a brand, a global superstar whose every touch, tweet, expression become headlines. On talent alone, there is no debate. World Cup winner, record breaker, but controversies have always followed him. And Real Madrid, they thought they could control it all. But from the moment Mbappe arrived, the balance inside that dressing room shifted. You saw it on the pitch itself. Tactical systems were reworked. Vinicius Jr. suddenly had competition for his own kingdom. Authority lines got blurred, and then came that moment. Spanish Super Cup final, a painful El Clasico loss to Barcelona. Xabi Alonso reportedly asks for a simple, symbolic gesture, a guard of honor. Mbappe did not want any of it and gestured so in front of a packed stadium, in front of cameras and his teammates. And just like that, the message was sent. The coach had lost his own dressing room. And within hours, Alonso was gone, officially cited as a mutual separation, unofficially another manager unable to survive the gravity of Mbappe. Look, Xabi Alonso was already under pressure. That is true. Murmurs of tension with Vinicius, questions over tactics. But in moments like these, a coach needs one thing above all else: backing from his biggest star. Mbappe that day not only signaled the end of Xabi, but also ripped that dressing room. Yes, he played the last 15 minutes despite being injured. He posted a farewell message, yes, and sure, he wanted Alonso to succeed. But leadership is not about tributes online and sound bites. It's about what you do when emotions run high, when defeat stings, when authority is tested. And this is where Mbappe keeps falling short. That's not coincidence here. That's a pattern. Wherever Mbappe goes, instability follows. Some coaches failed tactically, sure. Some clashed with management. Some were victims of impossible expectations. But the common denominator in all of these cases, as you're seeing behind me, is Mbappe remains the same, a superstar whose presence outweighs the manager's authority and control. Now, is Mbappe directly responsible for every sacking? Of course not. In fact, he had a very healthy relationship with some of them. Emery, Pochettino, Tuchel, and Ancelotti, in fact, left to coach Brazil. But could he have prevented some of their exits? Absolutely. Because football history is clear on one thing. When a senior player publicly backs a manager, it buys them time. It calms down a dressing room. It protects the vision. Mbappe rarely does that. Instead, he dominates the narrative, commands the system, and forces clubs to bend rather than build. At PSG, it created chaos, masked by star power. It took so many managers for the club to finally understand. And look at them now, they're thriving, minus the presence of Mbappe. At Madrid, it's threatening to do the same, and this is the uncomfortable truth Real Madrid must confront and try to find a solution for. Because Mbappe can win you matches, he can rescue finals, he can deliver moments of brilliance very few players ever will. But leadership is not about these things alone. It's about restraint, showing respect, and shouldering responsibility. A part of building long-lasting legacy. The greatest players don't just shine, they stabilize. They become leaders without that captaincy band. Until Mbappe learns that, every club he touches will face the same dilemma that Madrid now does. Are you building a team or surrendering to a superstar? Because Real Madrid don't just need a new manager. They need to decide who truly runs that dressing room. And that decision will define how they design their destiny here on.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news? From battlefields to negotiation tables, from internet outrage to real-world injustice. The conversations everyone is having and the ones they're avoiding. It's the same show, but this new year, Firstpost America gets a new look. I'm Kerry Johnston, and this is Firstpost America.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.